Hey, adjunct virtual campus faculty. Thank you for your continued work and your continued involvement in the virtual campus. You guys are the lifeblood of the virtual campus in a lot of ways. So I appreciate your efforts and your willingness to change and to grow along with us as we grow. So I'm just going to offer you a quick update, kind of where we're at and then where we're headed with the virtual campus, and then I'm also going to give you a few just reminders as we get ready for the first day of class. So I've got my notes over here on the screen, so if you see me look away, then don't think I'm ignoring you or something. So the virtual campus, just by way of reminder of what you're involved in, it does remain a strong and viable force for Carl Albert. Right behind our Poto campus, it's the second biggest campus in enrollment and credit production. So you guys are making it happen. This year's focus, we're going to go into this year. You'll hear a lot about course evaluations and some about professional development as well. So we started last year getting our course evaluation process off the ground, and this year we're going to continue with that and hopefully kind of close the loop and meet all of our steps and stages that we kind of set out. So the Virtual Campus Committee last year approved a plan of course evaluations, and this is how it goes. Everybody will complete a self-evaluation through Quality Matters on each course that they teach. So not each section, but just each subject that they teach. They then, after that's completed, it'll go through an internal review the course will be reviewed by a multidisciplinary committee with just people from Carl Albert. And then after that, we'll have one course a year. We've budgeted, it's really expensive, but one course a year to go through an official Quality Matters review. So that's what's we're gonna be pushing that for this year. And then also, the Virtual Campus Committee also approved plans for continued professional development for this year. We are moving toward using the Quality Matters professional development for our required professional development for our online instructors. So that includes adjuncts as well. So we're moving toward anybody that we hire that's new. We're going to go through that professional development as well. But then we will also pay for you to go through it. So I'll be sending out emails with dates for you to participate in that, and I'll tell you a little bit about that here in just a second. So on the course evaluations, I'll send an email out specifically on exactly how to complete a self-review and where to go to do a self-review. Basically, you'll be reviewing your own course. It'll just be you reviewing your own course using Quality Matters, their rubric. So many of you have already done this. If you need assistance or would like to talk to somebody who's done it, let me know and I can put you in connection with someone. So you'll need to complete a self-evaluation on each one of your courses that you teach. So not each section, obviously, but each course that you teach. And then after you finish that, an internal multidisciplinary committee of Carl Albert faculty will consult with you to review the course using the QM rubric as well. Then one course a year will go to Quality Matters to be reviewed by an outside committee. It's the identical process. It's the same process. It'll just be reviewed by people from different schools. Once that happens, then you will have an official Quality Matters certified course, which is a pretty big deal, and it's a pretty rigorous process, and so that's a big deal to have that award. So that's what we're shooting for this year, is at least one course to go through that process successfully. Okay, so on the professional development side, to prepare for this whole self-review process, these Quality Matters professional development courses really will help you do that. Informally, the feedback that I got, there were several people that went through it this summer, several people that went through it last year. Informally, the feedback that I got, the vast majority of it, was that they're in a class with other Oklahoma schools, Oklahoma colleges and state colleges, and throughout the assignments they get a chance to view other people's material and how other people's online courses are set up. And almost every person that went through that I've talked to has approached me to say, you know what, we're doing really good. Like our classes are organized really well and we have really quality material, which makes me so happy. So I'm really, really glad that is, if nothing else, those classes are a way for you to see that we're doing really quality work and we're actually leading the state in our course design and then the effectiveness and quality of our education. So I'm super excited about that. They're also really good ways for you to get familiar with Quality Matters, familiar with why we set up courses the way we set them up, and then maybe even giving you some ideas to continue to improve your course as well. So they're 2 weeks long. The courses are asynchronous, meaning you don't have to be online at a certain time, but you do have really regular due dates. Some people found them easier than they thought it would be. Some people found it more challenging than they thought it would be. So again, if you want to talk to somebody who's been through it and get their feedback, let me know. I've taken both of the courses as well, so I can kind of give you more details on that. But I'll send you some dates on those happen throughout the semester. So anytime that you're ready to sign up for those would be really valuable, I think, for your professional development. We're also working on creating, we will be this year working on creating an internal training course in Blackboard just for our people. So it's kind of like by us and for us. That's also where I'll be housing a lot of the resources that might be useful for you as you build your class or need refreshers or need tutorials, or that's where you can go to get those checklists, documents, that sort of thing. So I'm working on building that, and then as soon as I get those resources in there, I'll enroll you all in that class so that you'll see it pop up on your Blackboard account. Okay, so moving on to some, that's kind of where we're going this year. So just so you know, that's where we're headed. Some nuts and bolts and some reminders. So there's been a little personnel change as far as division chairs and things like that. So make sure that you're reporting to the right person. And if you don't know, ask myself or Mark Willis, and we can send you in the right direction. If you need any Blackboard technical help, like problems with enrollment or problems with accessing your course, or something about Blackboard itself isn't working, then contact Michael Martin. He's our Blackboard administrator, so make sure that you contact him. You can either call or email him, or you could submit a support ticket. They're pretty good about that as well. So you got multiple ways to contact him. If you need Blackboard content help, like you don't know how to create content, or you don't know how to organize it, or you taught a class a few semesters ago and you want that one video or PowerPoint or file or something into your new class, then Michael can help you with that too, but I can also help you. So if you send me an email or call me or come over or something, tell me to come if it's not too far, then I'll come and assist you anytime. So my schedule this semester is such that I don't have classes in the classroom on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you need to stop by and see me, I'll be working on my own online classes, but I'll be in my office and you can get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me there. So a little reminder as you're setting up your classes and getting those last touches on your online stuff, remember that when we're dealing with students, we're trying to provide them a really quality education, and that you do that with your content, but also a really quality experience too in their education. So make sure that you return your phone calls and emails from your students within 24 to 48 hours. This is in our guidelines and expectations manual, and it's important that you're available to them, and that they know that you haven't just set up the course and then just let it run and you just kind of check in on it once, every so often or whatever. They need to know that you're involved. They need to see you in the class. They need to see you responding to their questions and to their work in the class. So preparing for the first day of class, which is upon us. So a couple of things. When you're setting up your course, and I know sometimes when content transfers happen, things get messy, or things get little stragglers that you don't want students to see, and sometimes you haven't ever gone in and updated everything, like that frequently asked questions link, or the class hints link, or info and requirements link. Okay, any of those links, you need to go in and actually edit those and make them your own. Right now they're just populated with generic stuff that I put in the template. So you need to make sure that everything that the students see is edited to be exactly what you want it to be. And that needs to be ready by the first day of class, so that when students enter the class, they don't see anything that's confusing, that's out of date, that's not streamlined. A good way to check on this would be to go to the top of your screen and look at the click the edit button and make sure that it's the edit mode is turned off. That way you see what the students see when they enter the course, and look at it from a student's perspective. Is there anything hanging out there that I don't need to see, that doesn't pertain to me, that's maybe unfinished content or content that you're just sort of stashing away? It's fine to have that on there, but don't have it so the students can see it. Is it very clear? Do you have an announcement and a welcome video right when they enter the course? Are they instructed on what they should do next? I mean, some students might not know what to do next. So make sure that you tell them, okay, now that you finished reading this announcement, go over and click on the Start Working link to get going. Make sure that that's clear what they need to do next. In your speaking of next, the students, remember, need to complete an academic act before no-shows. Now, the no-show date this year is August 23rd by 10 a.m. So remember to build into your course an academic act. So what I do, for example, is, and I sometimes even put this separate from the modules, like I put it right at the top of the list. It's a syllabus assignment, and what I do is I direct them. I make an actual assignment in Blackboard, create an assignment, make it worth points, usually just 5 or so, and tell them, instruct them, go to the info and requirements link, read the syllabus, and then open this assignment to type a statement saying you've read the syllabus and agree to abide by it, and then click submit. Depending on the class, sometimes I also include a tutorial of how to submit Blackboard assignments, just in case they're really, really freaked out about it. So that way I know that they've completed, I know that they're in the class, I know that they've logged in, I know that they've gotten to the right spot where their class content is, which is in the Start Working folder, and then I also know that they've committed an act, like they've worked in the class, they've done something in the class. And I always have that due date be before the no-show date. It's a very easy assignment, and so I have them do that. I do that for my in-class classes as well. I have them go to Blackboard and complete it that way. That way you know that they've been involved, they've completed an academic act by the no-show date. You can have more assignments than that, but if your assignments are like mine, they're usually 2 weeks apart, and so I put that one in there as a small assignment that's extra that they can do, that that kind of validates their enrollment. And their usually I put in the statement, say that you've read the syllabus, and then also confirm that you intend to remain enrolled in the class and to complete the class. So that's that. So make sure you have something built in there for their academic act before the no-show, that's due before the no-show date at the 23rd. And then what I do is my no-shows are based not off of whether they've logged into the class, but my no-shows are based off of whether or not they've completed that act. So, okay. And speaking of gradebook, which is where you'll see whether or not they've completed that no-show act, please make sure that you watch my video again. I'll email it to you guys or give you access to it somehow. Please make sure you watch my video again on how to use the gradebook. Make sure that your columns are organized, that you don't have any leftover columns or extra columns. You can always hide them from the students if you're not sure if you're going to use them. But really try to avoid gradebooks with like a bajillion columns that students will look through, okay? That just gets confusing, and it's fun, overwhelming, frankly, to have them look and say, oh my gosh, I got to complete all these by the end of the semester. I don't know if I can do this. So make sure that your columns are up to date, and that also your total columns are set to include what you want them to include. That way students can have an idea of where they're at in the class from day one, and as they complete assignments, they're able to see their average rise. So make sure that your columns are organized and that your totals are accurate. Okay, also make sure to have regular due dates in your class to keep students engaged in the class. I find, even though it's kind of harder on me because I have to grade more often, it's easier in the sense that I don't have as many students kind of slack if they have really regular due dates. So make sure that your due dates are regular, they're often, and also make sure that your due dates are always on the same day and the same time, as much as possible. I know finals week is a little different, right? You might have some other little squirrely things in there, but man, it's so much easier to keep track of if you pick a day and a time and students know that with very few exceptions, all my assignments are due at this time. I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of like coming to class, right? We set a class time and a day and expect students to show up, and they plan their lives around that. Well, if you want students to complete assignments in an online class, this is really a best practice. So, for example, mine are all due Mondays at noon. They're not due at Saturdays at midnight because I want my working students to be able to have the weekend to complete their work if they need it. And also, if they have questions right before they submit an assignment, I'm not available on Saturdays at midnight. So I am available, though, on Monday mornings. And so I have all my assignments due then. So pick regular due dates and make them the same day and the same time, and that your students will love you. They will thank you profusely for that. So these regular due dates also help you when you go to send your early alert reports, because they can help you actually see whether or not a student has been consistently completing assignments, whether or not they've logged in. So logging in is not really always a good way to assess whether or not a student's really attending an online class, because they could just log in for a second and log back out, and they really have never done anything in your class. So look at those regular due dates, those regular assignments, and if all of a sudden, like they've dropped off, it says they logged in yesterday, but they haven't actually completed an assignment for a while, then you can see pretty quickly that they need to be sent a report that they're not participating in class, and they need to kind of get back on the ship there. Okay. So, some resources for you. This is the last thing I have. Resources for you. There are 3 that I want you to be aware of. One is Blackboard. Like I said, I have this course that I'm putting stuff into, and I'll get you access here within, hopefully by the time you see this video, or within the next couple of days, you will have access to this so that you can have access to those resources at any time. Secondly, for creating videos, like the one I'm doing right now, I'm using a program called OBS Studio. It's a free download. It's a safe download, and if you go online and download it, it'll take you like 2 seconds. It's really easy to use. I'm going to hopefully try to construct a tutorial on how to use it, but it's super easy, super fantastic. And so you record a video on your computer, it saves it in your videos folder, and then you put that video on YouTube, and then you share the YouTube link in your Blackboard course. So really easy to do, and I recommend that you download it and play around with it and see if you can use it to create a video. You can also use it to do like a screenshot tutorial. If you don't want it to be like webcam like it is now where you see my face, it'll just record your voice, and then it'll record what you're doing on the screen. So if you want to show students something on the screen, you can do that. And then finally, the last one for all you Apple users, for iPhones and iPads, there's an app called Show Me. That you can download. I think you have to pay for it, but it's really minimal, 99 cents or a couple bucks or something like that. Anyway, it's a whiteboard app, and it basically gives you a white screen and then records your voice, and then anything that you type or draw or erase or whatever on that screen. So I've done several lessons like that. I'll be glad to give you an example if you shoot me an email and ask for one. But that's a really cool app if you're like, I don't want people to see my face, that's weird. Or if you want to record a lecture in your pajamas or something, then that's a really cool way, and students can see you write stuff. And if you have something that would be content that'd be easier to display that way, that's a good app. It's called Show Me, one word. So Blackboard, OBS Studio for recordings, and Show Me for a whiteboard app. As always, if you have any questions or need help with anything, I know it can be kind of isolating out there in adjunct land, but I am here. I'm just a phone call away, an email away. So if you need help, please get with me. Be patient with me these first few weeks, as it's always a little crazy getting everything started up. But if you need assistance, please let me know, and I promise my top priorities are to be available to you and to get you what you need. So send me an email at sbrown@carlalbert.edu, or call me at my office at 918-647-1471. Contact me anytime, and I hope you have a great semester. I'm here for you.